What does bread is bread and cheese is cheese mean?
Absolutely no idea. I don't know what he's going on about, but it's just a massive deflection, right? The interview, as soon as that comes out, it's a chance for Mourinho to deflect the fact that Spurs were poor again, and Manchester United were by far the better side and deserved the victory. And look, the situation, it's obviously on all the back pages with Son and McTominay, and it is ridiculous, right? They're trying to con the ref, and it was so bad because it was actually Son who tried to grab McTominay, who had a great first touch, push the ball past him, and he just puts his hand out and he just catches him. It's nothing. I mean, that's just how you play the game. If when you're a footballer, you're having your arms out, your agility to fend people off, hold people off, push away from people. That's just how you do it. So I just hate the fact that these players now are just going down screaming, like a sack of potatoes laying on the floor. The stadium's empty and you can hear them all. It's pathetic, right? These are, it'd take 10 of you to knock a Son out on a night out. These people can handle themselves. They're animals. They're machines. Like, get off the floor. Stop being a baby.
Would it really take 10, do you reckon?
Probably.
Okay.
You'd have to catch him first.
He's been in the army as well. I'm sure he could handle himself.
Let's get a bit more on Spurs' performance in that particular situation as well that we just heard from there. Former Spurs boss Tim Sherwood's on the line. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Morning. We're all right, thank you very much. It feels like it's the right place to start, really, because it's all across the back pages. The managers both having their comments on it as well. What did you make of that incident that led to the goal being disallowed?
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit embarrassing for Son. Goes down, but you know what? I don't necessarily blame him. I think if players are hitting the floor now, the only way they're going to get decisions is by hitting the floor, unfortunately. VAR had an opportunity to look at that and wave it past, and it was obviously a very good goal, good movement for Cavani. But it's up to the officials to make that decision, and that's the only deterrent we're going to get, but stop people throwing themselves on the floor, screaming like James talking about.
Tim, it's Troy, mate.
Hi, Troy.
What do you think the ref's seen, though, when he's gone back and looked at that on VAR? What is he looking at and going, right, that's a foul? Because we can't see it. We've all played the game. We can't see where the foul is, but he's seen something.
Well, it's obviously his mind's been made up by the VAR. So they've gone, you need to have a look at this. Now, for me, there's no reason for him to have a look at it. He called it right on the field. It was never a foul. I mean, he flicked him in the eye probably, or it might be a little bit uncomfortable. Might be doing Sonny a disservice. It might be, but isn't it? You don't roll around, you don't stay down for that length of time. I think he's obviously looking for something to rule it out. Because they've sent him over to the monitor, now he's looking, is there something I could do? Someone's telling me to look at this, now I have to make a decision. Yes, there was contact with his finger around the face of Son, but not enough to rule out the goal. I thought it was a disgrace.
Yeah, Tim, you've been a manager, and how would you deal with this as a manager now and playing with VAR? Would you tell your players to do what Son is doing?
I think you have to. I mean, as much as you don't want to, Jamie, I think unless they're stronger and they stamp it out, the officials, like I've seen it recently, with players, I think Sadio Mane a few times, done it twice in 2 games, where someone's made contact to him. And he's entitled to hit the floor, but he hasn't. He's tried to stay on his feet. Now, they should look at that and say, well, he was pampered. If he wasn't tripped, if there wasn't contact, then he would have scored or he would have made the situation better. Now, I think they have to be stronger and they have to give them. But if as a manager, you tell your players, why, if they're coming in at half-time, just for half-time, 0-0, and someone's made contact, they try to stay on their feet to score, I am saying to them, why have you not hit the floor? Hit the floor. Unfortunately, guys, it's the only way we're going to get decisions.
Okay, let's talk about Spurs because their performance.
I hear that, Laura.
Their performances. If you do like a first half table, second half table, basically they are really performing in the first half, falling away in the second half. Why do you think? Because with Jose Mourinho, that's not a very Jose Mourinho trait, is it?
No, I mean once they have a goal and they have something to hold on to. Notoriously, Jose's size, very difficult to break down. This team is not able to capitalise on it. They sit back, they invite pressure, and eventually they can't hold out. Jose said, I mean, his quote last week is, it's the same manager, different players. I'll be saying to Jose, well, if you've got different players who can't play that way, then you have to change your way of playing. You know, you have to keep on the front foot because everyone knows that Tottenham's strengths are with the firepower they possess, even sitting on the bench. I mean, players who can't get a game of football could get in most teams in this Premier League. You know, so he has got the firepower, but unfortunately for Jose, it's not the style what he likes to play with going forward. I think if they continually go forward, we've seen them time and time again. They go ahead, they sit back, the opposition equalise, and then they come out again. They look quite threatening. You know, yesterday they got outplayed. You know, it was a different class Man United side. I thought from the off, even when Tottenham scored a fantastic goal, just felt Man United played with that swagger. Looked like a top team, and Tottenham looked like they've gone backwards.
Tim, who do you think will go first, Kane or the manager?
I mean, Jose don't stay long, does he? You know, in places. I think it's a fine margin to try. I think he's still there. I mean, it was a poor result. They've had a poor couple of weeks. You know, Europa League was a devastating result. Obviously, the emotion of losing a North London derby is always big. But it's still there for them in finishing the top four. I don't think they can lose another football match. There's a lot of big teams who want that position. And they could win the Carabao Cup. If they do that, then it's the best season they've had for a very, very long time. But it's a big if. They play Man City. We know it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult finishing the top four with the teams I just mentioned. But Harry Kane's situation, Harry loves that football club. He's going to have a big decision to make. He's got to sit down with the manager, Jose at the moment, and with Daniel Levy and see if the ambitions of the football club match his own. Now, the ambitions of Harry Kane, without even talking to him, I can tell you, is to win trophies. Now, if he thinks he can win trophies at Tottenham, he'll want to stay, and he will stay there. If he thinks he can't, then unfortunately he's going to have to leave. But the only thing I would say, Troy, is who can afford to buy him? In the world we're in at the moment with this pandemic, I don't think there is many clubs out there who can afford to buy Harry Kane.
Yeah, I said that earlier on. I don't think he's the type to put a transfer request in and make it difficult either, knowing Harry the way I do. So I think it will be very difficult. I just think when me and Jamie were speaking off air, I think it's one of them now where the chairman's got to come and speak to him and say, look, this is what we're doing. Are you on board? How do we work to get the best out of each other? Because he is Tottenham Football Club, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah. I mean, this has happened many times at Tottenham, and I've been part of it. When the player leaves Gareth Bale, the year before, normally the agent or the player goes to the chairman and says, look, we want to go. We want to pave the way. Now, I don't know if Harry's representatives have done this. Luka Modric did it as well, give the club the extra year. Now, I don't think it's possible for him to say at the end of the season, I want to leave, and they'll be able to sell him. I think if he's going to have to give him another season. They're going to have to pave the way, and they're going to have to give him the opportunity to go and find a replacement. Now, good luck with someone who's in charge of that.
Right, that's a great way to end it. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. It was lovely to hear from you, Tim.
Cheers,
Speak to you again very
Tim.
soon.
Bye-bye.